Welcome. I'm so excited that you guys are on tonight. If you haven't been to one of these talks before, I'm glad you're here. First and foremost, if you don't know who I am already, I'm Dr. Ryan. Our whole team is going to be excited to get to work with you soon. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking the sacrifice to watch this video. It's going to set the framework and the foundation for what we're going to do next. So, of course, at this point, you should have gotten your paperwork. If not, we'll get it sent to you. Let us know. Fill that out completely. Spend some time on it. Really, really connect with yourself. Do not sell yourself short when it comes to setting goals. Why? I'm going to tell you briefly about my story tonight. However, you have to don't sell yourself short on what you think you can accomplish. I promise you, we'll talk a little bit about that tonight. Your body is capable of performing and achieving health that you've probably never been told before. And now with our track record of success, we've done it with thousands and thousands of patients. There's no reason why you can't be the same if we can accept your case. So we're going to dive through that. We're going to dive into that starting now. Pay attention, ask questions. I'm going to be covering a couple of frequently asked questions towards the end, but I'll try to get to some questions throughout the talk. Ultimately, what we're trying to do with our approach is guide you guys towards a life that's actually worth living. True freedom, true job security is health. Because if you're always sick all the time, you can't function, you can't move, depending on what your job type is, or your career type, or if you're a professional athlete, you just can't function well. You're not going to have a job, right? And it's the same thing with family security. Okay, so we're going to dive into that now. So remember, complete the paperwork before the appointment so that we can cover everything and we can really go deep into what your goals are. The more that you guys share, the better that the conversation is going to be, and the better we're going to get an idea of what's really going on with your life. What are the things that we can work on and really support you where you guys need to be supported. Okay? So whether you're suffering from migraines, headaches, you've got diabetes, or you're pre-diabetic, or it's the hormone issues that you guys are suffering with, hopefully we're going to be able to help you. But again, we're going to dive deep into that. Now, there's usually a couple different types of people that come to us, okay? And I would say we'll talk about the two main categories. So there's the person who I say like super mom, super dad. They know they've got health issues. They've likely been diagnosed with some type of disease process already. For example, diabetes or Crohn's or any type of irritable bowel dysfunction or syndrome. And they have been to one of our talks, or they've been referred to us by our clients, and we've been able to help somebody with the exact same types of issues get phenomenal results, get back to health, get off their medications. That's person type number one. So we call that super mom or super dad, and here's why. Because our goal, or your goal, is maybe you want to get better, you want to get off the medications, you want to start living a much healthier life, and if we accept you as a client, then we can definitely help you with that. And we'll get into why we can accept certain people and we can't accept others, and we're transparent with you. So the other type of person is the person who wants to be like Superman or Superwoman. We call it like superhero person. And that type of person doesn't just want to get rid of any issues that are going on, any diagnoses, any diseases, but once they accomplish that, they also have much higher goals. So they want to be able to provide for their family for the rest of their life. They want to be able to travel. And when you're traveling, you want to have a lot of energy. You don't want to be stuck up on a dialysis machine when you're 65 or 70 traveling the world, or stuck on a CPAP machine everywhere you go because your health has just deteriorated so badly, right? So those are the two main types of people that we work with. But whatever your level of transformation, we're going to help guide you along that path. So as we guide path, know why we're different. Okay, so the normal insurance routine or the insurance model, fee for service model of healthcare isn't really getting us much better. You know, the top 1% of people, or the top 1% of areas where healthcare really does shine is emergency medicine. But unfortunately, that's only 1% of what people are actually going through. The other 99% are chronic lifestyle diseases. The top three killers in the world are all lifestyle diseases, which means what? That we can change our lifestyle to get out of them, right? And so we want you guys, as you see on the screen here, there is Medicare guidelines, and this is the guidelines that dictate and cover all of your healthcare insurance guidelines. And so what does it say here in Medicare? Care that seeks to prevent disease, promote health, and prolong and enhance the quality of life is not considered medically necessary. But by a show of hands or a show of yeses in the chat box, isn't that what we want? Right? Who wants that for themselves and then for their families, their spouses, their kids? Of course. But that's not what's covered by insurance. What's covered by insurance are the surgeries, the pills, the things that aren't helping cover the root cause or address the root cause of your problems. Those are the things that are what's covered by insurance. And so that's why we need you to understand why our programs are set up the way they are and why they get the results that they do is because we're not shackled to doing what is only covered by insurance. And most of you guys here tonight are already taking a ton of medications, or you've already been to 7 different doctors sometimes, and you've still got no answers. You've got diagnoses, but that doesn't explain why the problems are occurring. Hopefully, does that make sense? If that makes sense, type yes in the chat bot or freedom in the chat box below. So that's our starting point, our reference point. So when we understand this and when we're better educated on this, then you can see why our programs are so successful and why we can't. It's not that we don't take insurance, it's that they just don't cover what you need. Just like your auto insurance does not pay for your brand new tires or your oil checks or your tire rotations or any of the cosmetic stuff you might want in your car, right? It doesn't pay for any of that, and it doesn't pay for your inspections either. But you need all that, and all that's necessary to have a very good functioning car, right? I'm sure a lot of you out there even buy car parts for your cars, right? Just so that they look a lot nicer. But none of that stuff, of course, is covered by your auto carriers. It's just when you're in an accident or crash, God forbid that doesn't happen to you, but that's what that coverage is for. So hopefully you're kind of getting a grasp on that. So this is called health crisis, and we want to avoid that system. It's not about taking control. It's not about being proactive, right? And the reason, let me back up real quick. The reason we're here is because of the next slide, which is that whole system has created a quick fix or a pill culture. So much like this ab machine here, this is just another one of those gimmicks that you've seen on TV, these fads that come and go, but none of these are actually about changing habits or changing patterns or really developing good, healthy habits that get you what you want. Because usually the purpose for this was fat loss and getting rid of the belly fat. But can just doing crunches get rid of belly fat? If you think it can, then type yes in the chat, or if you think it cannot, then type no, and maybe even elaborate on that. And if you're one of the people that bought this, don't take offense. It's okay. It's this culture that has programmed us to think that these quick fixes are going to work, but they're never going to work. And we're being fully transparent. If we do end up accepting you as a client, and I'm excited to work with you guys, it is not a quick fix. It is a long game strategy. We're going to teach you and educate you how to change your life, how to be healthy, how to have these good habits that give you lifelong health from this point forward. And we've got to kind of get out of that old model and that old mindset and shift habits and thought patterns to actually get us there. I'll give you another good example. We've all heard of the phrase, very good marketing by the way, of milk does a body good, right? But does it really? There's a lot of research out there that says the complete opposite. And if you know a lot of information about the drugs in the United States and many countries like the United States, a lot of the antibiotics, 70% of the antibiotics, it's probably a little bit higher now, go into feedlot animal, right? They're not even human use. They're into feedlot animal. Why? Because they get such infections because of how fast we grow them. But that's a topic for another day. So milk isn't really good, and we'll dive into that maybe in the consultation. So, but if you actually want to thrive in this culture, then you've got to be proactive. Okay? There's no shortcuts. This slide usually makes people laugh. Same thing here. Same principle applies here. We've got to be proactive. We've got to actually take control of our health. Simply driving the dog down the street, this is technically walking your dog, but this is not a good form of exercise, right? I think we can all agree on that. So this is a good example of being proactive. This man, Jack LaLanne, most of you know, right? He's the poster child of proactive living. All throughout his life, he was chasing health and eating healthy and broadcasting it to the world. He was sharing his purpose, right? And so even all the way up until this picture on the far left here, he was about 84, somewhere around there in this picture. He was living a very high quality of life. How many 84-year-olds do you know right now that look very healthy? They're upright, they're walking upright. They're not on medications. They're running around with their grandkids. Probably not many. But how many here want that for either themselves or their grandparents or their parents? I know I do, right? So it's going to take a proactive approach in this process if you really want that level of health, that quality of health. So as of right now, you're only as young as you'll ever be now. So we've got to take action now. So when it comes to our programs, we have a couple different pillars that we include, and these pillars are absolutely necessary. But by far, the most important aspect of our transformations is how much we have you involved in your own health. We're going to teach you everything, right? So there's this old proverb, tell me and I may remember, show me and I will remember, involve me and I will understand. So we're going to be working with you hand in hand to educate you, teach you, to support you, to guide you, to make sure that you now know how to incorporate these healthy habits, the structures, the routines, and you have good accountability partners. So whenever you involve people, that's how you create mastery, right? It's a journey, not a prescription. So that leads us into what are the pillars. So here's the 5 pillars of our programs. The first and most important pillar, or the first pillar, is going to be the pillar of detoxification. Okay, so I would say throw out any old preconceived notions about what you think or have heard about detox. This isn't a 30-day water fast. This isn't the gallbladder cleanses where you're drinking a bunch of olive oil and lemons or what have you. No, this is going to be a gentle cleanse or detox if it's right for you. Not everybody needs a detox, but the majority of people do. Then the next pillar is nutrition, right? So if you want healthy quality tissues, just like the 3 little pigs, if you want healthy quality tissues, you've got to get high nutrient dense foods into your body, plain and simple. If you want a straw house, then think of that as eating McDonald's, eating fast food, cereals every morning. It's not going to build a very strong house, a strong foundation, or strong cells. But if you eat high nutrient dense foods, organic foods, pesticide-free foods, you're going to really be able to build high quality tissues that over several years are going to turn over and continue to create high quality organs. That's the recipe for success. That's the recipe for reversing some of these conditions or diseases that you've been told you just absolutely can't. But I'm here to tell you that we've helped thousands of patients through that, and my story in and of itself is a glaring example of just how far the body can go when you're willing to put in the work. The third pillar is going to be the fitness. We have to get you exercising and moving. No, don't think we're going to try to turn you into an elite athlete or a CrossFit athlete or you know, a decathlon athlete. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about basic movements, exercises, routines. Yes, involving some weight training. That's the number one way to build bone density and prevent osteoporosis and things like that. It's literally simply moving the body. It's absolutely a part of the pillars, and it is absolutely why we're able to achieve the results that you haven't been told you can achieve. And we're able to do it consistently and repeatedly. And yes, there's going to be obstacles, but we're going to help you fight through those. The fourth pillar is hormones. Why? Back to detox. Even if your hormone levels are out of balance, you could have way too high of stress levels, cortisol levels, maybe too much high estrogen, not enough testosterone. Maybe your adrenal glands or your thyroid gland aren't functioning. We've got to get those hormones back in balance. But before we can do that, recognize that the liver plays a crucial role in creating and harmonizing those organs. And if your liver, which is one of the primary paths for detoxification, if it's not working right and you go to change the hormones or balance the hormones, you're going to have a very hard time, if ever, being able to get those hormone levels back at normal. Right? There's a lot of stress reduction techniques and lifestyle habit changes and box breathing and meditation. And all those things too will help with stress levels and hormones. But we've got to incorporate hormones as a pillar as well, because it's going to drive all the metabolic reactions in your body. And we've got to make sure that yours are adequate and healthy. And then the very last pillar is the mentorship. And this is actually the most important pillar. So just like any big company, any high-level CEO, any high-level athlete, myself included, we have coaches in different areas of our lives to help us get to the next level. We invest a lot of money in our coaches to help us get to the next level. And it's no different with your health. When you have somebody that's going to be there, that's going to help hold you accountable to do the things that you need to do and to guide you on the right path, that's what makes this so successful. Yes, you've got to do everything else, but if you are all by yourself, you're gonna fail. The majority of people will fail if there's nobody else there to support them along their path and their journey. So the very most crucial aspect of what we do, and we love to leverage technology, is the mentoring or the mentoringship. So to kind of wrap it all up, if I were to ask you which one of these pillars could you exclude or do you want to get rid of? None of them, right? You can't get rid of any of these pillars, unfortunately. Okay, it's all of these pillars together that give us the success that we've achieved, and it's just part of how the body is designed to function and work. So when we incorporate all these pillars together, and when we go through your consult or go through your exam, your complete wellness evaluation, and we sit down and have that consult, get ready to dive deep into what's really the problems in life. Why do you think that you've tried, you've all probably tried some of these pillars before. You've tried a fad diet and exercise, and maybe you lost the weight, but you regained it. Well, what was wrong there? Well, could have been a toxicity issue. A detox could help with that. Maybe hormonal imbalances. I see a lot of athletes that, I do a lot of body recomposition. So think like physique competitors getting on stage. Hormones bounce way out of whack after competitors are done competing. Why? Because they didn't take the right steps to make sure their organs are healthy before they got on stage. And then you see this crazy rebound effect. That's just one really good example. That's why all of this goes together. So get ready for that, for the wellness evaluation. Start thinking about, what do you really want to achieve? What do you really want to accomplish? What parts of your life is this affecting? or maybe you're already set up on a pretty good path, but you just didn't know a lot of the information we talked about, and you want to make sure that you're not like the 5 out of 6 people that end up in a nursing home or that die of the top three killers, which are all lifestyle diseases. Nobody wakes up thinking that's going to be them. Then how does everyone end up there? Because of stuff like this. They don't have a good roadmap to get to success, to live that high quality, thriving life, to make sure that they're avoiding the heart disease and the cancers and the diabetes and all those different issues that are plaguing our nation. So health independence is the goal, not just the temporary results. So when we jump on this, we jump on the complete wellness evaluation. We go over that stuff with you. I really want to know what your goals are so we can help you reach them. So in closing, thank you guys for listening to this. I'm so looking forward, so excited to see you guys there. I can't wait to introduce you to the team if we are able to accept you as one of the practice members, get you started, and then I can't wait to see what goals and life achievements that maybe you never thought were possible, that you get to live out your purpose. You get to live these dreams, that can now become goals. We'll see you guys. The very last comment that I want to make, guys, is now is your chance. Now is the time. You're as young as you're ever going to be. It's the chance to change, to get some solid habits, get around the right people that are already living and doing the things that you want to accomplish as well. So be sure when you come to that appointment that you've filled out the paperwork, that you've brought your spouse, your partner, your significant other. And if you don't have one, please bring a very good friend that can help hold you accountable, because you're going to need somebody that helps hold you accountable in person in addition to us. And then make sure you arrive on time. We respect your time. Please respect our time. We've got a lot of practice members that are waiting to get in, people that are actually ready to put in the action, to get to work. And we want to make sure that we have the time to spend with them and to spend with you. I look forward to seeing you guys there. Can't wait to help you out.